want a trial because I want a bloodbath talaga.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, please state your name. Solemnly swear that in all things appertaining to the trial of the impeachment of Vice President Sara Zimmerman Duterte, now pending, I will do impartial justice according to the Constitution and the laws of the Philippines. So help me God.
After months of delay, the Senate finally acted on the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte. But what started as a promising step quickly turned sour after the Senate dribbled the case back to the lower house. Is this a sign that Duterte's allies are succeeding in shutting the trial down? And will the public stand by this move? I'm Stanley Palisada and this is the Weekend Wrap. After 4 months of uncertainty, the Senate finally got the ball rolling on the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte. The two-man minority bloc moved to convene as an impeachment court just 2 days ahead of Senate President Francis Escudero's target date. Despite pushback from colleagues, they managed to swear in Escudero as presiding officer of the Senate Impeachment Court.
Sir, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. Okay na, sir. Importante kayo naman.
I, Francis Cheese G. Escudero,
Solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that in all things appertaining to
that in all things appertaining to
the trial of the impeachment of
the trial of the impeachment of
Vice President Sara Zimmerman Duterte,
Vice President Sara Zimmerman Duterte,
now pending,
I
I will do impartial justice
will do impartial justice
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws of the Philippines.
and laws of the Philippines.
So help me God.
So help me God.
But that was it for one day. Little did they know, day 2 would explode into a war of words with senator judges split down the line. At the center of the chaos, the Duterte bloc. As expected, Duterte's allies tried to strike down the complaint. Senator Ronald De La Rosa questioned if the 20th Congress even has the power to move forward with the case.
In view of its constitutional infirmities and question on the jurisdiction and authority of the 20th Congress, the verified impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Zimmerman Duterte be dismissed. The Senate, without convening into impeachment court, is not prohibited from dismissing the impeachment case, Mr. President.
But Escudero stood his ground, saying they could only act on dismissal once the Senate formally convenes as an impeachment court. So, one by one, senators donned red robes and took their oath as judges. But not everyone suited up. Senators Robin Padilla, Amy Marcos, and Cynthia Villar stood out, refusing to wear their robes. Villar said she didn't get one fitted, Padilla saying his didn't fit, while Amy Marcos said she didn't have one. The move drew flack from the House prosecutor, saying it showed a lack of discipline.
I do not know the reason why some of the senator judges refuse to wear their robes. Di po ba? So that's a matter of discipline within the Senate or within the impeachment court. Bahala na po yung presiding judge na magdisiplina sa kanila.
After a formal oath, De La Rosa renewed his motion to junk the complaint, but the minority fought back fiercely.
The motion actually is unconstitutional in the opinion of this representation. Sole power. So ibig sabihin ng sole power, tayo lang ang may kapangyarihan, ang Senado lamang ang may kapangyarihan na mag-try and decide. So litisin ang isang impeachment case at hatulan, desisyonan. Ngayon kung aayaw tayo kaagad, ni hindi natin na-try, ang try is litis, palabas yung mga facts para ma-apply natin yung judgment natin sa facts, wala na pong matatakbuhang ibang body. That's why a motion which cuts short the entire process is unconstitutional.
A motion to dismiss is not found. Hindi po nahahanap itong motion to dismiss sa Rules of Procedure on Impeachment na literal ka-adapt lang po natin. At kung mayroon man, hindi Senator Judge ang magre-raise nun, kundi ang defendant.
And things heated up even more as the night goes deeper. A senator raised her voice trying to block another's manifestation.
So I restate my motion, Mr. President, to momentarily suspend any action, whether interpellation or seconding speech on the privileged speech of the good gentleman from Davao, para sa wakas bigyang daan yung inaprubahan nating motion kahapon na manumpa na po kaming I still
Point
have
of
the floor.
order.
I have the floor, Mr.
Point of
President.
order.
I have the floor, Mr. President,
A point
to
of
make
order,
way
Mr. President.
for
Session-
taking of the
session
oath
is
before the
suspended.
presiding officer, Mr. President.
Meanwhile, two lawmakers nearly came to blows. There was also a fiery exchange between Minority Leader Coco Pimentel and Duterte ally Bongo.
Ang gusto nating kalabasan ng paglilitis na ito ay hustisya, hindi politika. Ang importante sa ating mga kababayan ay may pagkain sa kanilang hapagkainan. Hindi naman nakakain itong impeachment. The Filipino people have decided at ang kanilang desisyon, mas gusto po nilang tutukan natin ang trabaho at serbisyo. Tama na, tigilan na natin ang pamumulitika.
Ang tanong nila kung makakain ba daw itong impeachment process. Pero marami namang bagay sa buhay na importante rin na hindi nahahawakan, tulad ng hustisya.
Trying to cool things down, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano offered a compromise. Instead of killing the trial, he proposed sending the complaint back to the House for clarification.
I move to amend the motion of Senator De La Rosa to read as follows, that the articles of impeachment be returned to the House of Representatives without dismissing, and that should be nor terminating the case until such time that one, the House of Representatives certify to the non-violation of Article 11, Section 3, Paragraph 5 of the Constitution, which provides that no impeachment proceeding shall be initiated against the same official more than once within a period of 1 year, including the circumstances of the filing of the first 3 impeachment complaints. And number 2, that the House of Representatives of the 20th Congress communicate to the Senate that it is willing and ready to pursue the impeachment complaint against the Vice President.
All those in favor of the motion of Senator Cayetano, as read and as you can see in the screens before you, please raise your hands. Kindly. The motion of Senator Cayetano is carried.
Only 5 senators opposed the move, saying it was vaguely and legally shaky.
I strenuously vote no to the motion. The wording of the approved motion introduces unnecessary ambiguity to the already politically charged proceedings. Ang return po ay pagsauli o pagbalik. Sa usapin ng judiciary, nire-remand ang kaso pabalik sa lower court for further proceedings. Kaya po, I cannot accept this kind of wording. It is dangerous and disingenuous, particularly when the rules of court have suppletory application. The same purpose could have been achieved by merely asking the House prosecutors to file a compliance and clarify certain issues. Wala pong remand o return sa konstitusyon. ang obligasyon natin, try and decide. Isa po itong kabalintunaan.
Escudero, one of those who voted for the remand, defended their decision.
Maliwanag ang intensyon ng Senate Impeachment Court sa katatapos lamang na botohan. Walang intensyon na i-dismiss ang kasong ito. Ang intensyon ay mabigyan ng pagkakataon ang mga prosecutors na sumagot sa ilang tinuturing mga katanungan nang hindi inaaksaya ang panahon ng korte at nang hindi pa hinuhusgahan ang bagay na ito.
After the vote, the Senate issued summons to Vice President Duterte, ordering her to respond within 10 days. The House will have 5 days to reply, but the backlash was instant. Progressive groups braving the rain rallied outside the Senate, calling the move another delaying tactic. Even House lawmakers and incoming members slammed the remand.
I was really stunned by what happened. Hindi ko ina-expect na ganun ang mangyayari. And after the verbal gymnastics of Senate President Francis Escudero, I was expecting that they would really tackle the impeachment trial. Nakaka-insulto po ito eh.
Harap-harapan na tayong niloloko. Kakaibang korte ito. Korte ng kababalaghan. Praises to Senators Risa Hontiveros, Coco Pimentel, Nancy Binay, Win Gatchalian, and Grace Poe for standing up for the Constitution. Shame on the rest for this travesty and ignominy that will mark them for the rest of their lives.
Legal experts joined in, calling Senate's action unconstitutional. They also warned it could set a dangerous precedent.
Deliberately delaying the process, and they're trying for means and ways in order to derail or stop the impeachment process. I think that's the agenda of the Senate. And they forget that they're senators of the people. At ang dapat protektahan nila are the people and not the accused.
What the Senate does is to open the door to future impeachments where you have the Senate and the House playing ping pong with each other. And that's precisely why we're in this limbo now until there's another movement in this ping pong, right? Then we really are unfortunately in this constitutional limbo.
Despite the outrage, the House prosecution panel said it would comply, but not without raising questions. They say they won't accept the complaint just yet, not until the Senate clarifies its order. The Senate is asking the House to certify the non-violation of the one-year ban on impeachment complaints. It also seeks assurance from the 20th Congress it is willing and ready to pursue the complaint.
This is not disobedience. Definitely, ang gusto lang po natin mangyari is to seek guidance and enlightenment first so we can properly comply with the order of the impeachment court.
The 20th Congress does not yet exist. It's like saying na si Pedro ang nag-file ng kaso, pero si Juan ang tatanungin mo kung gusto niyang ipagpatuloy ang kaso.
In response to the first order, the House certified their adopted impeachment complaint does not violate the Constitution. Speaker Martin Romualdez also vowed to comply with the process, but he admitted he found the Senate's actions troubling.
I rise, not in defiance, but with resolve, guided by duty, grounded in principle. The decision of the Senate, sitting as an impeachment court, to return the articles of impeachment is deeply concerning. We shall comply with the requirements of the impeachment court, not to abandon our course, but to ensure the process continues. Because in matters of truth and accountability, the House does not back down. We act not for ourselves, but for the nation, for every Filipino who hopes for clean, honest governance, for every citizen who still believes that public office is a public trust. Let history bear witness. The House of the People stood firm, not in opposition, but in conviction. In this House, we did not falter, we stood firm, because that is what the people deserve.
But Escudero asserts the House has no choice but to follow the Senate Impeachment Court's orders.
Hindi kami magkapantay pagdating sa bagay na ito. Hindi ito House at Senate kung saan co-equal ang mga ahensyang yan. Sa parte ng impeachment, Korte ang Senado, prosecutor ang Kamara. Wala sa lugar para sa akin ang Kamara na hindi sumunod sa ipinag-uutos ng impeachment court. Hindi ito parang BICAM na kailangan naming mag-agree. Ito'y kautusan galing sa impeachment court na nakatuon sa prosecutor na isa lamang partido sa kaso.
Now, while all of these plays out at home, the Vice President is once again overseas. After her Netherlands stay, she flew to Malaysia on a private trip with her family. But her legal team says they are ready to defend her despite what they claim are major constitutional flaws in the complaint. While in Kuala Lumpur, the Vice President spoke not about her own legal woes, but about her father's ongoing detention in the Netherlands. She even threw a public challenge to presidential sister and ally Amy Marcos, "Bring my father home or you'll remain my hostage."
Inimbita ko si Senator Amy Marcos kung saan man ako pumupunta, dinadala-dala ko siya. Kasi sinasabi ko sa kanya, hindi ako ang magbabalik kay dating Pangulong Duterte sa Pilipinas. Dahil ang kapatid mo ang nagpadala sa kanya sa Hague, ikaw ang magbabalik sa kanya sa Pilipinas.
Meanwhile, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is watching closely. He says there should be no controversy and that the impeachment trial should continue into the 20th Congress. Vice President Duterte, impeached over alleged fund misuse and threats against the First Family, could go on trial after the President's State of the Nation address next month.
What is the controversy? It is very clear that it will. Because there's no way that even if they start the trial now, that they will finish it before the new senators come in. It has moved already from the House. It has now been in the Senate for a few months. And we are watching, of course, what the Senate President Chis Escudero is doing to try to make it as a peaceful a transition as possible from this Congress to the next.
And while the Vice President battles legal storms at home, her father's case in the International Criminal Court is quietly gaining ground. Former President Rodrigo Duterte's legal team has filed a formal appeal for interim release, asking the ICC to allow him to stay in an undisclosed country while awaiting trial. Lead counsel Nicholas Kaufman revealed a specific government has already agreed to receive Duterte. His lawyers argue he's not a flight risk, will not obstruct justice, and won't re-offend. A lawyer for drug war victims hopes the ICC would allow victims to weigh in on this issue.
Sabi nila, one, ang prosecutor ay pumayag na o hindi mag-o-oppose. Pangalawa, may pumayag na ring bansa na sasalo sa kanya. At kumbaga, ito yung kondisyon eh. Kaya medyo parang, nakakaano to. Heavily redacted itong version na nakita natin. Hindi natin alam yung ground, hindi natin alam kung ano yung estado, yung state na patanggap sa kanya. Hindi natin alam yung conditions. Kung meron kang receiving state na malapit sa The Hague, tapos sisiguraduhin nila, ginagarantiyan nila na makakasipot sa mga hearing si Duterte, kumbaga lalambot kung sakasakali yung ground para kay Duterte na payagan. Kaya lang, syempre, ang hirap din eh, kung humanitarian grounds at di umano may sakit, syempre, ito ang due process.
Overseas tragedy strikes India. An Air India jet bound for London crashed in the city of Ahmedabad. just moments after takeoff, killing at least 265 people. Only one person survived, a British national on board. The plane slammed onto a hostel for doctors, killing not only passengers but also people on the ground. Britain has dispatched a team to India to help investigate the deadly crash. And that wraps up this week's Top Stories. I'm Stanley Palisada. We'll catch you again next time for more of the latest headlines. Stay with ANC, the ABS-CBN News Channel. Never miss a story. Unlock exclusive access to uninterrupted streaming and premium news content. Subscribe to ANC 24/7 on YouTube and join ANC Prestige today.